Today I want to talk about the importance of this here recirculation button, and it can be seen here on the dash of my '06 Honda Civic Si. Presumably this would be the same in at least the '06 to '08 models. However, I'm pretty sure this probably occurs in other models. What I'm about to show you is the result of searching for answers as to why I had critters in my car. I had a day where I had parked the vehicle, which kind of happens regularly. We have two vehicles we drive, and I basically came in the morning after letting the car sit for a night, and there was a bunch of ripped up shavings and napkins and stuff on this here passenger floor mat. And when I looked above, you could actually see some pieces and parts of napkins and papers, you know, falling out of this area. And so obviously I opened the glove box, and what I found was a big mess and a nest kind of looking activity in here with some, you know, mice droppings, and basically it was pretty filthy. It smelled pretty nasty. They had torn up pretty much every napkin that was in there, and basically were looking like they were planning on moving in my car. And it was literally sitting in this parking spot for one day. So what was odd to me is that recently I installed a stereo in this vehicle, and I had to put a power wire through the firewall. And when I looked for locations to put this power wire, I couldn't find any. I had to really create a spot. So how did the mice find their way in here? Well, anyway, first spot to look would be around this here glove box. So what I did was pulled all the stuff out of the glove box. And I'm going to show you this too. Why you should know this is because if you ever go to the dealership to have your Honda serviced, they always want to replace your cabin air filter, right? Well, this is something that's so simple for you to do as a individual that, you know, you shouldn't pay any extra for this. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't even buy the part from Honda at the dealership. You should just go on, you know, eBay and find an OEM Honda cabin air filter. I think the last time I bought one, it was about $22 or something. And it literally takes seconds to replace, and I'm going to show you this. So I've emptied the glove box, and in the glove box, there's these two tabs here. I don't know if you can kind of see how you can bend this in. Well, if you reach in on, and they're on both sides, I'm going to set the camera down. If I bend them both in, and I pull down, now the glove box is fully dropped down. And when I did this the day, you know, unfortunately it's all cleaned up, but when I did this the day that, you know, I found this mice activity in my car here, there was a bunch of debris up here, which drew my attention to the top of this box. And this is actually the slot where your cabin air filter is. So what I want to show you is how easy that is to replace, so you don't ever pay somebody to do it for you again. And that is right here. I'm going to grab these two tabs, and I'm going to pull it towards me. And that's the cabin air filter, folks. It takes literally, you know, you saw it. That's how fast it is. It's easy to replace. It does have an airflow direction. If you replace it, make sure you're, you know, putting it in appropriately. There are some little lips here that you do have to get the filter element folds to sit in the correct spots. But when you do that, everything falls into place and it works. So what I want to show you is what happens when you utilize the recirculation button. So if you see, the light is on right now, and my blower is on low, and basically even if I turn it off, that light stays on. Well, I'm going to show you what happens when you press that button, what goes on under the dash. So we're looking in the airbox now. This is where that cabin air filter was, right? What's funny is it's open above it too. I don't know if you guys can see that, but basically I can stick my fingers, let's see if I can do this. I can stick my fingers in here and out the top. So I'm thinking, oh, well, this is obviously how the mouse got in here. You know, he's sitting on top of that filter. Well, how does he get on top of the filter, right? If you press the recirculation button, and you're just gonna have to trust me, but I want you to watch what happens to that kind of door looking thing up here. I'm gonna press the button, hear the actuator, the door swings, and what you can't really see is the door swung towards me. Okay. Now that spot that was open, that I just had my fingers through, is shut. I can't reach up through. But wait, can I? There's another spot. If you look at it, there's a flap. And this flap is being held open by gravity. See what I'm saying? It's just being held down. Like I can stick my finger right up through there. So now I have to show you what happens, and actually maybe you can see it from here. So we are now looking through where the cabin air filter goes, and that's the engine bay out there. Notice how there's nothing stopping mice coming into this airbox right now. So with that button and that light off, this flapper comes inside here and opens the airbox to the outside, where mice could enter from under the wiper cowl. Basically, I don't know how they're getting under there, but there are a bunch of open spaces, obviously, for rainwater and snow to exit the wiper cowl. So those are big enough spaces for mice to get up here. I suspect they get up here, they have a dance party on top of the filter element, and they get in through that flap. Well, that flap is clearly open. And I suppose when it was a stiffer material, when it was new, it probably maybe held firm. So here's the solve, is either put some sort of mesh material up in here, or out under the wiper cowl. I can tell you what I think would be easier, and that would be putting mesh inside the cabin here, as you saw how easy it was to get to this. Or you can just always make sure that when you park your vehicle, that you park it with the light on. Basically, you want that light on. And here's why, is now your airbox is shut. You can no longer see to the outside. That flap that I had my fingers from is now having gravity hold it down. So, but if you pushed from this side to the outside, there's nothing holding that flap shut other than gravity. Okay? So, it's pretty easy to see that mice could get in here, especially if your recirc button is left off. So my recommendation is leave this fancy light on. If you want fresh air while you're driving down the road, absolutely turn it off, but just remember when you park the vehicle to turn it back on. I'm out.